boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the reboot of Calling BS. My name is Brian Svensson. I am the hockey hipster. To my right-hand side, my very good friend Cam Holm, the YouTube rock star. And this is Calling BS on the reboot. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about Johnny the Finger Manziel. Mm-hmm. I'm drawing a blank. What else are we going to talk about today?
Johnny Manziel.
We're going to talk about the NFL. Yes, we're going to talk about our NFL picks because NFL's happening.
Super Bowl predictions. Yeah,
and then maybe a little bit about Vegas odds.
Yeah,
because
possibly,
why not?
Our selections on the Super Bowl, which are definitely you want to bet on that.
Right.
We will make you money.
Okay, and shoot, what was the last thing?
Potentially touch on the draft lottery.
Right,
changes.
the draft lottery changes. Okay, so we're gonna. First of all, then, okay, so like, did you watch Monday Night Football?
I didn't watch Monday Night Football,
but you obviously saw what happened.
I did. I do have Twitter and social media, and the moment that happened, it was just, Johnny Manziel, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, and so basically, for those of you who don't know, Johnny Manziel drafted in the first round by the Cleveland Browns with their third first-round pick. So they passed over him twice before they got to him. He was obviously passed over by quite a few other teams as well.
Many teams passed him over.
Had two pretty darn good seasons with Texas A&M, one obviously winning the Heisman Trophy, taking down the undefeated at the time, #1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Second year, he was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, ended up losing it to Jameis Winston, who had a tremendous season. Johnny Manziel, the first ever freshman to win the Heisman Trophy, drafted by the Cleveland Browns. In a quarterback battle with Brian Hoyer, who has played started four NFL games in 5 years. Well, I just want to point this out. Like, Brian Hoyer was so bad when he was in Arizona that he almost got cut for some undrafted unknown on the Arizona Cardinals. That year they had that horrible quarterbacking fiasco where Max Hall, like Winnipeg Blue
Bomber Max Hall. Was that the year as well, or was that the previous year with Matt Leinart?
That was the same year.
Oh, that was excellent to watch. Like, but obviously, I'm a Vikings fan. I'm wearing my hoodie. I don't just wear hoodies. But they had that rotating carousel of quarterbacks that just kept coming in and out. This injury-plagued season.
Yeah, no, that was the year, and Brian Hoyer almost got cut. He wasn't even good enough to hold their clipboard.
So was he even on the sidelines at certain points during the season?
Little bits, but not a whole lot.
And so this is a man who's, personally, I think, well, I guess I'll ask you. Obviously, you think Johnny Manziel's the man to go to in Cleveland then?
I think so, but I mean, he's got to show some more poise. So he goes out there playing Monday Night Football, has a not so great game, gets run off the sidelines, and one of the Redskin players actually went on Mike and Mike the next day and said that the cleaned up version of the comments basically said, "You're in the NFL now, you can't outrun these guys." And so he was walking back towards his huddle, and nonchalantly, with style and class,
that only Johnny Manziel can pull off,
put a very obscene gesture up over his right shoulder. Was not blurred on national television.
And while simultaneously giving the thumbs up to his teammates as well.
It was tremendous. It was amazing. I can't be angry at a guy who just pulls that off like just so flawlessly.
Well, I mean, if you even go back to his second year at Texas A&M, that offseason that he had, it was where he got caught like signing or violating NCAA rules, where he was signing stuff and
autographs for money, which we talked about before. Is just ridiculous.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't really. You know going in drafting Johnny Manziel that he's going to be a lightning rod for like any type of like media attention whatsoever, and he's not going to go out of his way to avoid that. He's going to make controversy. That is what he does.
I don't think he necessarily likes the controversy. I just think he doesn't care. Like, it doesn't faze him. It doesn't bother. Like, it's not something that he necessarily wants because he understands it's not good. But at the same time, like, I don't think he cares enough about the controversy to really want to stop it. Like, it just doesn't bother him.
I understand that he shouldn't care about it, but in a certain way he should, because it affects other players on the team. Some players who are, I don't know, quiet and contained, on the team. I don't know who that might be.
But like, why do we hold professional athletes to like a higher standard than we hold everybody else in that regard? Like, you and me can go to Vegas, get completely blitzed, post a bunch of really stupid pics on Twitter, and like our bosses are probably just gonna laugh at us. Like, as long as they're not, like, I mean, even Johnny Manziel, like, there was nothing crass about the pictures. It was just, him in Vegas drinking, gambling with a couple of celebrities, right? So, like, if we go to Vegas and take a couple of pictures of us at like the roulette table, right, with red Solo cups in our hand, and then manage to find, I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. on the strip and take a selfie with him, right? Like, our bosses aren't going to ring us out for that. So why are we holding our NFL stars, our sports stars, to like a higher standard? The dude just wants to go. And
I understand that, but he's the reason. Okay, these guys, they're business owners. They own the business, and yes, we both work in it and we represent businesses. But we're not televised. We're not in the media. We're not false idols or idols to someone who, like a little kid growing up in Texas saying, "Oh, I want to be just like Johnny Manziel." Do you think when he's running away from the sidelines, flipping off?
Okay, that I'll give you. But like being in Vegas, like what's wrong with going and having an entertaining time?
Nothing. I'm not against that. I'm not against going to have the entertaining time.
I'll give you the gesture. I think that people are making way too big of a deal. Like, it's not like he went and flipped off the fans like Andrew Ferentz did to the Habs fans a couple of years ago.
Yeah, where his glove got stuck, which
is a bunch
we've
of
all played hockey.
Is a bunch of BS.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
That joke where you say the show name inside of the show.
Exactly. And you look right at the camera.
And so he was flipping off the Redskins bench. Does he need to be more composed? Yeah, but are we making way too big of a deal out of it?
Well, you shouldn't. There's certain things that, like, even in it's people's jobs to say, "Okay, this is how you act in television and in media. This is how you answer the questions. Don't let them bait you into this." He's going out of that realm and making someone look bad just for the fact that. Just to attract media attention, or just to say, "Oh, I don't care about it." Well, you should care, because you're making other people look bad, and you're putting your teammates in situations where they have to answer questions about you when they should be answering questions about how great of a job they did or how terrible of a job they did. Instead, you're focusing all that media attention on just one person, and then suddenly it's like, "Oh, I only had 3.5 sacks, but in one game, but I have to answer a question about this new hotshot quarterback that flipped off the crowd just for no apparent reason."
Half a sack is a BS stat. Just by the way, I think it's
sharing, Brian. Okay.
Sharing
if
is
we
caring.
both sack, we both get half. That's how.
How many games do you think it's going to be before Manziel starts? Because they've announced Pettin announced Brian Hoyer is the starting quarterback as of yesterday.
I believe it was yesterday. I would say, I know we have talked about this before, so I'll go off what we were talking about in our conversation prior. I would say, week 8 will be his
8. Watch this happen, okay? So like ESPN has a very interesting take on Johnny Manziel. They like to give him quite a bit of credit. Watch Hoyer go 6-2. Manziel come in, go 2-6, make the playoffs in that horrible division that's there, and have Manziel has led the Browns. No, I think he is better than Hoyer, but interesting. Anyways, moving on. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year? I know it's way too early to even matter, but
I wouldn't mind seeing. I highly doubt the Vikings will be there.
They're not even make the playoffs. They're gonna be lucky to get 5 wins in that division. 5 wins.
The over/under odds on them are 6.
Slurpee bet.
Slurpee bet?
Slurpee bet, 5 wins. Would you take over/under on 5
I'm taking
wins?
the over.
Okay,
Most certainly.
Done.
Well, there you go. I think Super Bowl, I'd love to see a repeat, so I'll say Seattle.
All right.
And Richard Sherman is just excellent.
He's magnificent. He is. I'm taking the Packers. Don't even give me that look.
You're not wearing your Packers stuff.
It's a legitimate pick. I can't wear Packers stuff. There's a green screen behind it.
Valid point.
Says the guy not wearing any Riders gear.
That's correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, why do you think the Packers will win?
Okay, last year they went 8-8, won the division, scared the heck out of somebody in the second round, the 49ers.
Colin Kaepernick.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
He is.
And that was with Aaron Rodgers being rusty and having half a season.
So you're saying
they've improved the defense. He is healthy. They're going to have hopefully a full season of Eddie Lacy running the ball, because they didn't have him for the first 5 games.
I think so.
So you're going to have more of a running attack to take the pressure off of Rodgers. He's amazing off of play action. I think his completion percentage off of play action is like 84% or something ridiculous like that. So, yeah, I just think that offense is going to be too much to handle. Like you talk about the Legion of Boom and this and that and the other thing, but you're going to have to. They obviously outscored Peyton Manning, but like that whole entire team, there's an APB out for the Denver Broncos, man. Like we know that they were there before the game because they all had intro interviews, and we know they were there after the game because there were exit interviews and press conferences. But that 60 minutes when
in
the
between
game was happening, there's an APB out for them. They disappeared, man.
What is APB?
Applied something bulletin. It's basically like it's like it's a missing persons report.
Oh, for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what's excellent about the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I missed the first half.
Oh, so you missed all the fun.
So I missed all the fun.
Yeah.
I came in when the game was over.
Yeah, pretty much. NHL Draft Lottery. They're changing the rules. Basically, the way that they've evened it out so that anybody inside of the first, they're making it more like the NBA, where anybody you can't just move up 5 picks. Anybody inside of the first round can win the first overall pick, and they've lowered the odds. So now that the Jets are so bad that we actually had a chance at Connor McDavid, now that the NHL, Batman's like, no, I gave you a team back. No, we can't count Batman. You can't have this. No, So he changed the rules, so now we can't watch the Jets be the worst team in the NHL, which is a possibility this year. And then not get Connor McDavid.
Well, they lowered the odds from having the first round pick, your percentage of winning, to be 25.3 or 25.8, something around there, to 20 even. So that a whole 5%, then they dispersed it, like everyone, it was trickle down effect. But I believe it's only the top 10, like the lower, the remaining teams, so I guess the bottom 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cannot actually get the first pick. And if you, well, realistically, you can't. I mean, you could. There's like 1% chance. But they trickle down effect, and they lessen the percentages of anyone being able to actually make or win the draft lottery, which, and it gets even lower in the second season. I didn't see the numbers on the second season.
Plus, they're lowering it even more in the second season. Plus, like they're giving, like instead of just being a draft for the first pick, they're lotto balling for the first 3.
What do you mean by lotto balling for the first 3?
They will draw a number, and the number that comes out first gets the first overall pick, and then they will pick another ball, and the second ball gets the second overall pick, and then the third ball will get the third overall pick. So there's a chance that if you are the worst team in the league, that you will end up with the 4th overall pick.
That'd be awful.
Right?
Yeah, I don't like that, because as of next year, the setup is... Oh, really?
They draw for every single number.
All the way through.
15.
So
yeah, 1 to 15.
So they'll draft, okay, so number 1, and then it'll go through the rotate, and then they'll pull out number 4. 2. Or like say if they pull out 4.
Yeah.
4th they'll get first. There's only 2 guys that I know of for sure that are going to be in next year's draft. It's Connor McDavid and Jack Eichel.
And both of them are pretty good.
They
Both of them are pretty good players.
Well, Jack Eichel is a legend comparison is Ryan Kessler meets Ryan Getzlaf, which I'm okay with that if that's second, if that's the complimentary pick compared to Connor McDavid.
I don't know. If I'm the worst team overall and I don't get McDavid, I am going up to the podium and I'm kicking over the podium.
Well, yeah, but you have to look at even this year, if we're comparing the NBA, NHL, and whatnot. The NBA, they had their Cleveland Cavaliers. Didn't they finish 3rd or 4th?
Yeah.
And they actually got the first pick?
Yeah. But we're running out of time today, so I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. Of course, Brian Svensson, Cam Holm, calling BS on Shaw TV's Community Creations. Have a great day.
The proceeding was an independently produced community access program. The viewpoints expressed are those of the community access producer and do not reflect those of Shaw Cable Systems. The program is presented in response to CRTC policy guidelines regulating community programming.